So Sean O'Malley puts on a masterclass performance against Chito Vera in the main event of UFC 299. This was a fantastic fight card, top to bottom, pay-per-view of the year so far, and I don't know how it can be topped. I don't know if 300 will be topped. It's going to be a big event, but man, overall, the fights were absolutely fucking insane. We got a bunch of crazy knockouts, bunch of crazy fights, but let's go ahead and get into the main event between Sean O'Malley and Marlon Chito Vera. I got it correct. I went 5 for 5. If you look at my last video, I went 5 for 5 in my predictions. I picked every single person on the main card correctly. And this main event, I pretty much got it. I mean, it was 50-45 and 50-44. One of the judges had a 50-44, 10-8 round in there. What a fucking masterclass and masterful performance by Sean O'Malley. Even though it was kind of sickening to hear the glaze, the massive glaze that Daniel Cormier and Joe Rogan was just doing for Sean O'Malley. It was absolutely just disgusting to hear. It was like, oh, you know, the first bantamweight, like who, you know, when's the last time the bantamweight, you know, championship headlined this massive pay-per-view? I'm like, bro, shut the fuck up. Can we like stop glazing the fuck out of Sean O'Malley right now? But they were like, it was consistent throughout the entire thing. I understand he put on a fantastic performance, but then they started talking about like, oh, he's a superstar, he's this, he's that. Listen, I like Sean O'Malley. He's a very entertaining fighter, obviously. He put on a great performance, you know, how I expected him to, you know, to do. And great. But like, you guys just went overboard to fucking dick suck this guy. I understand. Listen, they're trying to push this guy to the moon. But my God, can we just relax a little bit? You know what I mean? Like, my goodness. Like, the fight wasn't even over yet. They were talking about, oh, dude, Sean O'Malley, he's a superstar. Like, bro, he's not a fucking superstar, okay? He's not a superstar. Okay? He's a star. But he's not no. Come on now. Let's just be honest. Still, great performance. Fantastic performance. But can we just stop with the slobbing of the cock? Like, can we just relax here, guys? Let's get back to the fight. But anyway, first round was kind of the most filling out process round. I mean, obviously, because like this is the first round. Sean O'Malley easily won that round, I believe. He just did enough. He was throwing out the jab. One thing about Sean O'Malley that's so great about him, I don't know, I'm like, oh, stop glazing Sean O'Malley, and I'm about to glaze him right now. But honestly, one thing about him is that he gauges range and like he utilizes his range and distance extremely well, where he doesn't put himself in a really horrible position. The only time that I saw him put himself in a really dangerous position is when he fought Petr Yan, when he got like pretty much rocked in that fight. Other than that, he gauges range very well, and he did such a fantastic job, especially in this fight. This was probably his best performance of his entire career. It really was. I mean, it was masterful, and I understand he didn't get a knockout, but how the hell are you going to knock out Chito Vera? He has a fucking granite chin. Like, it's literally the heart. Like, bro, he has probably one of the toughest chins. Him, Marvin Vettori, Max Holloway, those guys, those are the trinity. And there's probably somebody else, but those guys have crazy chins. I mean, he took a knee flush down the middle, right on the chin in that, I believe it was the second round, which would have put out, like, anybody. Would have put out, it would have put out Volkanovski. You know what I mean? It would have put probably Volk out. And Chito ate it. It was unbelievable. Insane chin that Chito has. That was, like, the best thing about Chito's that he was able to take all of these shots and pretty much barely get rocked. He did get rocked at one moment in time, but he was able to kind of recuperate and stuff like that. Insane stuff. But in that second round, which I'm assuming is what one of the judges gave a 10-8 round to Sean O'Malley for, I mean, it was completely dominant by Sean. I mean, he was teeing off on him, had so many moments, a bunch of combinations to the body, going, you know, throwing 1-2s right down the pipe, throwing hooks, throwing everything, and he was landing. I mean, the accuracy was insane in that second round, and that was probably the most dominant round, probably of the whole night, in my honest opinion. Third round, Chito at first started to kind of get a little bit of momentum, but then something happened. In the middle of the round, Sean O'Malley started to then tee off again, and then he stole the round from Chito. I was like, damn, like halfway, I'm thinking, Chito's winning this round right now. This is good for Chito, because if Chito can win this round, and maybe the next round, it could be down to the fifth. but he loses that one as well. Absolutely great just comeback performance for Sean O'Malley in that round, because he was losing. I thought Chito did very well, and making it a messy fight and just trying to at least throw some strikes at Sean O'Malley to get him a little bit on edge and back him up a little bit, because Sean O'Malley was pretty much keeping this pace throughout the whole fight, and Chito just has no type of output, no volume whatsoever. This guy is the opposite of output. It's absolutely just horrific when it comes to Chito. If Chito had more output, I'm telling you right now, he would have had an extremely better performance, but I'm assuming he's like afraid to gas out. I don't know. I mean, listen, I don't know Chito Vera personally. Maybe that's just the way he fights. I don't know, but I felt like he needs to have more, a sense of urgency. You're losing this fight and you need to like throw, and you could have won that round, but you lost it. And just that was not good, and O'Malley was able to steal the round from Chito. Round 4, I believe it was a closer round 2 to Chito, but then O'Malley, I think, was able to win the round as well. Very good, 4th round for O'Malley. And then the 5th round, at the end was like probably the best shot that Chito had, was like, I think he dug to the body. I don't know, I believe it was like a left hook to the body, if I'm not mistaken, which looked like it kind of hurt O'Malley after the fight, but I was pretty much at the bell, so obviously, we didn't know what was going to happen after that. But yeah, I mean, overall, O'Malley put on a significant, amazing performance, similar to kind of what Volk did to Max in the 3rd fight, in my honest opinion. I don't know if it was what Volk did to Max was absolutely insane. I don't know. I mean, listen, Max did absolutely nothing. There was moments for Chito in this fight, and I mean, listen, O'Malley got bloodied up. So, Volk pretty much had nothing, like no scratches or anything on his face after that fight. So I'm not even gonna go ahead and compare that. But it was still a masterful performance, a great performance, probably the best performance of his whole career, and he is still the champion. He calls out Ilia Topuria. I'm telling you right now, that is not a good idea. Well, it's a big fight. And if you're going to do it, you probably should do it now. This is like the hottest that it could possibly be. You're coming off, 2 guys who are coming off big-time victories. You probably don't want to give the fight to Merab right now. I mean, you got to give, a little bit of time. But O'Malley, I feel like, can recuperate maybe the end of the year. You can give us that fight in Spain. He said that he will fly to Spain and fight Ilia Topuria. Dangerous fight. I think Topuria smokes O'Malley, like he knocks him out cold. But that will be an insane fight. One of the biggest fights that you can possibly make in the UFC currently. That's absolutely insane. If they can do that, absolutely insane. I hope that happens. I think Topuria will be down to do it, obviously. Because the only other person that will fight Topuria is probably Max Holloway when he's done fighting Justin Gaethje, and we'll see how that goes. Who knows what will happen in that fight. So right now, I mean, listen, you got to give some recuperation to O'Malley. Maybe end of the year, I think it makes sense. 2 fights for both guys for the year, and O'Malley can go up to 145 and try and see if he can beat Ilia Topuria. I'm not gonna lie, I think Topuria, like I said, really early prediction. I mean, this is not even announced. I think Topuria sends him to the shadow realm. Like, holy shit, sends to the fucking nether realm or whatever the fuck. Like, he smokes him. He knocks him out cold, like in the first 3 rounds or something like that. That's how I see it currently. But we'll see what happens. That fight hasn't been made, but congrats to Sean O'Malley. He gets the victory tonight against Chito Vera. Let's talk about the co-main event. What a fucking performance by Dustin Poirier. I predicted this, and I went back and forth for weeks. But I was going to even make a video maybe specifically just for this fight, and I didn't. And then I picked Dustin Poirier to win the fight, and he won it. Shout out to Dustin Poirier. Rough first round. Benoit St. Denis put on a crazy pace. But I was like, is Dustin Poirier, or not Dustin, but Benoit St. Denis able to keep this pace in the later rounds? And he gassed quickly. The second round, he was done. He wanted to get Dustin out of there quickly. He looked great, but Benoit looked great. But then it was just, I don't know, he looked like Khamzat Chimaev. Khamzat Chimaev 2.0 is Benoit Saint Denis. Absolutely just, his whole gas tank was gone in that second round. And Dustin Poirier, one thing about him is that you can't have that kind of gas tank when you're fighting Dustin Poirier, because he will put you out, and that's what he did. It was rough, though. I mean, the takedown defense wasn't really there in the first round, but Benoit was using all of his energy. And in my opinion, Benoit needed to slow it down. He needs to, like, slow down his pace from now on, obviously. Because, like, holy shit, this motherfucker, you know, like, it was over in that second round, because then Dustin started to, you know, to piece him up on the feet. He dropped him, you know, like, I believe, like, 3 times total, I think, in that second round. And then he, obviously, the final shot, he knocked him out cold. One shot, that was all it really took, and it's over. And I picked third round, and I thought it would have been a standing TKO, but honestly, this makes sense. I mean, he was gassed, and he caught him with a clean, I believe it was a right hook. Beautiful shot by Dustin. What a way to recuperate after a really rough first round, because I was like, uh-oh, this is not great. But I was like, dude, Benoit is like, he's using a lot of this energy. This is tiring for somebody to grapple like that and keep this pace. And I mean, not only on that, on the feet as well, he had a crazy pace. Was he able to keep that? Unless he was able to knock him out in that first round, and you know, who knows? And well, obviously not. So that second round, he was gassed, and he was out of there pretty much. And Dustin was able to take advantage, and he gets a second round KO. I mean, I told people not to doubt Dustin Poirier. That my video, I said that Dustin Poirier, listen, he is a veteran. He's a guy that's fought all kinds of people. Khabib Nurmagomedov, Justin Gaethje. Who the fuck else he fought? Conor McGregor 3 fucking times. Michael Chandler. He's fought Justin Gaethje twice, by the way. Eddie Alvarez. He's fought everybody. Max Holloway. He's fought the best of the best throughout his entire UFC career. Charles Oliveira as well. Don't forget Charles Oliveira. Holy shit. I mean, he's fought everybody. And Benoit Saint Denis only fought Matt Frevola. Like, bro, Matt Frevola is not Dustin Poirier by, like, bro, like, he's not, okay? Benoit Saint Denis, I saw some issues with him early on, but in my opinion, I mean, I didn't think that it was going to be that bad. I didn't think he was going to get dropped like that. But, man, you know, this is a huge step up in competition for him. And now, I mean, I guess it's a fraud check. People love to say that nowadays, if this is a fraud check. I guess so, because, you know, you face a top guy and you get knocked out. But, I mean, it's time for him to face maybe a guy like a Jalen Turner, or fight a Dan Hooker, or fight, you know, somebody that's like in the top 10, like early top 10, you know, or maybe even, not even that, like a top 15 guy. I don't know who exactly, but it's time for him to take a step back, honestly. Because, yeah, I mean, this is not, I mean, it wasn't a bad performance. It's just that he gassed out quickly. I think it's obviously just him being really young in this game. You know, and, you know, going from Matt Frevola to Dustin Poirier, that's a huge step in experience and levels. I mean, that's just, you know, you're fighting a top 3 guy in the lightweight division. I mean, that's insane. But a great performance, though, from Dustin Poirier. And the fact that he took this fight, I have a lot of respect for Dustin Poirier, a whole lot of respect. For him to take it, you know, to face a guy who was not even in the top 10 in the lightweight rankings, and take this fight, and this is a huge risk, you know, where he could lose his top 5 spot, you know, lose his top 5 ranking. Shout out to him, because a lot of people were kind of thinking like, oh, is Dustin Poirier like, you know, he only wants to fight big money fights and stuff like that. But he fought somebody who's not really well known in Benoit Saint Denis, and he beat him and knocked him out cold. And he's not even in the top 15. So shout out to Dustin Poirier. He put on a great performance. The crowd went fucking nuts for this. It was great. Great stuff by Dustin Poirier. He gets the victory in the second round. Great stuff. Let's talk about MVP real quick and Kevin Holland. Honestly, the fight pretty much went as expected in a way. And I pretty much got it correctly, 29-28. I said split, I thought maybe one of the judges, maybe the last round would have been a lot closer, but honestly, it was just completely MVP's round. And to be honest with you, Kevin Holland looked awful in there, if I'm being honest with you. He did not look great in there. He just couldn't figure out MVP at all because he's so unorthodox, so weird in there, and he could not figure him out at all, like, throughout the entirety of the fight. Just not a good performance from him. When he clinched with him, he couldn't take him down. Well, there was one moment that he did, and then he could have had a rear naked choke, but he wasn't able to, and MVP was able to get up from that as well. But yeah, I mean, a very interesting fight to say the least. MVP has some good moments, but honestly, I mean, I guess have him fight Wonder Boy next. I guess, fuck it. I mean, a lot of people have been saying for him to fight Wonder Boy. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think Wonder Boy will be down to do it. I think he'd entertain that. It makes a lot of sense. I guess he probably want to step up in competition. Maybe you can have that later on, maybe middle of the year, September or August. And I think Wonder Boy would be ready for that if Wonder Boy wants to continue to fight. I don't know what, you know, Wonder Boy's mindset is, but I think MVP versus Wonder Boy, that's a pretty interesting fight. You can have that as a Fight Night main event, and I'll be down for it. Fuck it. Hey, why not? Or you can put it in a pay-per-view. I don't really care. Listen, just, hey, it's going to be entertaining either way because there's very awkward, you know, styles going up against each other. I think that's a lot of fun. MVP, you know, obviously the antics were there. If you see an MVP fight, this pretty much was, you know, the same thing, like as any other MVP fight will go. And he had a pretty solid performance. I mean, listen, he beat a guy who is ranked in the welterweight division in his debut. You know, a lot of people thought that he was going to get fraud checked, you know, and he did not. He did not get knocked out or anything like that. He was able to survive, and he did a decent job. 29-28, unanimous decision victory. I mean, have some crazy spinning back elbows and stuff like that, spinning elbows and stuff like that. Has some really cool moments in the fight. He had his little taunt. He was taunting Kevin Holland at many moments in the fight. But yeah, I mean, it was everything that I expected it to be honest. I thought it was going to be a little closer in that final round, but it wasn't. It was pretty much all MVP. And he gets the victory in his UFC debut. Fuck it. Have him fight Wonder Boy. Let's do it. Next fight I want to talk about, Della Maddalena versus Gilbert Burns. Listen, I did think that he could have knocked out Gilbert Burns, Della Maddalena, but it was looking a little rough. It looked like, I think, when I gave my reaction, I thought he was down 2-0 going into the third. I mean, I had that mindset, even though he had, like, good starts to the round, to both rounds, you know, the grappling was not there. His takedown defense was not there at all. But he was able to get up in that final round, and then he catches Gilbert Burns with a clean knee and puts him out and gets the victory. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I quickly glanced at like a scorecard that I think every judge had Gilbert Burns winning the first 2 rounds. So obviously JDM had to win and by knockout or, you know, by finish, and that's what he did. A little scary with some of the, you know, the ground and pound. You know, it looked like he was kind of close to hitting the back of the head. Hopefully Gilbert is okay. I'm assuming he is doing okay because he was on the ground for quite some time. I think he was dazed obviously by that knee, but you know, obviously, you know, it got a little close to the back of the head. I mean, obviously it wasn't intentional by JDM, but I felt like it was cutting a little bit too close in my honest opinion. Very dangerous, but I think hopefully Gilbert is okay. Still a great performance by JDM. Especially in that end, he caught him perfect. He timed that knee perfectly. It looked like Gilbert was going to shoot for another takedown to pretty much solidify the round, and he gets him. He times it perfectly, and he does some ground and pound, and that was it. But he has to listen. He called out Shavkat, by the way. Holy hell! I don't know if you're ready for that, JDM, but listen, I respect it though. I respect it because that is a ballsy call out to call out of all people, Shavkat Rakhmonov. That is insane. But listen, more power to you at the end of the day. But great performance, and he gets a knockout, and now I believe that makes him a top 5 guy in the welterweight division, if I'm not mistaken. If you wanted to do Shavkat, if Shavkat's down, hell, fuck it. That sounds pretty interesting to me. Let's do it. JDM versus Shavkat. I'm pretty sure JDM will lose that one because Shavkat is a monster. But who knows? I listen, I'm ready for it. I'm sad for it. So, yeah, that's my overall thoughts on that. Let's talk about Petr Yan real quick. Bouncing back. Man, I was a little iffy about this fight too. The first round did not look great for Petr Yan, but Petr Yan is a slow starter. He's a very slow starter, obviously. But that second round and that third round was masterful. I'm sorry. Petr Yan, I don't understand why people keep down to Petr Yan. He is an amazing fighter. Still one of the best bantamweights on the planet. He's better than Chito. He's better than fucking Chito. By like a lot. And honestly, they should do Chito versus Petr Yan. They need to do that fight. 100%. I think Petr Yan smokes Chito. Do a Fight Night main event or do a 3-round fight. I don't care. But Petr Yan's back in the win column. I think it makes sense rankings-wise because they're not obviously going to give, Petr Yan a title shot anytime soon. He has to get some wins under him. And why not fight the guy who just lost his title shot, you know what I mean? And get 2 wins in a row, then maybe fight one more person. Whether that be whoever, Corey again, I guess. I don't know. But find somebody like that, and then, right, you're back in title contention, probably facing whoever is the champion, which could be Marab, could be Sean, could be whoever. So, Petr Yan, bro, there was that, I don't know if you guys, I mean, if you watched the fight, you know, that takedown that he got, I believe it was in that third round, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was clean. It was quick, and he took, bro, I mean, he showed levels to this shit. I mean, bro, like, later round, aside the Marab fight, later round, Petr Yan is a fucking beast. He is insane. But shout out to him, though. He had a great performance in this damn fight. That first round was looking a little iffy, because I thought Song Yadong did a hell of a job. But then that second and third rounds, man, I was like, this is what I'm here for. The fans were behind him, and that's what you love to see. And finally, after like I think over 800 days, he wins a fight. My goodness, that's insane for somebody of Petr Yan's caliber to not have won a fight in pretty much over 2 years, 2.5 years, pretty much. But still, fantastic performance. He gets back in the win column finally and beats a really good guy. Like, Song Yadong is a great fighter. Song Yadong is great. Upcoming guy with a lot of talent, and Petr Yan needed to win this though. He needed to 100% win this. I say you can do Chito, or you can do, if Henry doesn't want to retire and he's bluffing about the retirement because he said, I think on his podcast or something, that he probably might not retire. Do Henry versus Petr Yan. That sounds pretty interesting to me. I think Petr Yan beats him. But still, I mean, that would be pretty interesting. To me, Chito versus Petr Yan is a lot more enticing to me, in my opinion, because that would be better, in my opinion, for Petr Yan to beat Chito than beat Henry, in my honest opinion. So, yeah, but great all-around fight card, great main card. Just all the great fights that happened as well on the prelims, early prelims. But I don't want to make it too long of a video, so I'm going to end it here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you soon with another video. Peace out.